Today we're going to study about suffixes for nominalization. That means turning verbs into nouns. So, before we start, let's talk about the function of suffixes. What do they do? Well, the function of a word can be changed by adding a suffix. For example, deny is a verb, but deniable is an adjective. Why? Because able is a suffix for adjectives. If I change deniable into deniably, now it's an adverb. Why? Because ly is a suffix for adverbs. So we can see that by adding a suffix, we can change the function of a word from deny, a verb, to deniable, an adjective, to deniably, an adverb. Moving forward now, we're going to be looking at some suffixes that nominalize verbs, that is, change a verb to nouns. But before we start, I need to mention that some words can be both a noun and a verb without adding a suffix. For example, I interview her for 1 hour. Here, interview is a verb, but the interview lasted 1 hour. Here, interview is a noun. We can see that in the first sentence, interview is a verb, and the second sentence, interview is a noun, and I did not add a suffix. This is very important to keep in mind that some words can be both nouns and verbs. These are the 5 suffixes that we will be looking at today. These suffixes change verbs into nouns. These are ment, tion, ence, ance, or, and e. To get started, ment. Okay, he worked hard to improve his room. So here, improve is a verb. If I add ment, for example, and it was a big improvement, now it's a noun. Okay, so improve, verb, improvement, noun. What does ment mean? It means an action or the result. For example, he worked hard to improve his room. This is an improvement, the result. Some other examples of verbs using ment: develop, verb, development, noun. Advance, verb, advancement, noun. Improve, verb, improvement, noun. Okay, moving forward now. Another example is shun. South Carolina was completely deforested. Here, deforestate is a verb. They should have stopped the deforestation. Here, deforestation is a noun because shun is used for nouns. Okay, what does shun mean? Shun is an action or process. For example, modernization, to modernize, it's a process. Sanitation, to sanitize, it's a process. And we looked at deforestation. Okay, let's look at some examples right here. Modernize, verb, modernization, noun. Sanitate, verb, sanitation, noun. Deforestate, verb, deforestation, noun. Moving forward now, let's look at ence and ance. The animal doctor assisted the sick dog. Here, assist is a verb. Okay, sick animals need assistance. We added ence, and now assistance is a noun. So assist, verb, assistance, noun. What does ence and ence mean? Well, they mean an action and a process. Okay. Some other examples of verbs that have been changed into nouns with ence and ance are accept, a noun, a verb, acceptance, noun. Assist, verb, assistance, noun. Disturb, verb, disturbance, noun. Adhere, verb, adherence, noun. Okay, moving forward now, we're going to look at and or. For example, the racers compete to win. Compete is a verb, but only a female competitor will win. Competitor is a noun, or is a suffix for nouns. Okay, what does and or mean? It means one that does. We use this generally for objects that do a job or people that do a job. Other examples of and or: instruct, the verb, instructor, the noun. We looked at compete, the verb, competitor, the noun. There's tutor. Okay, then we have interview, the verb, interviewer, the noun. Moving forward now, we have e. Okay, For example, he interviewed her for 1 hour. Here, the verb interview is a verb, okay? But the interviewee answered many questions. Interviewee here is a noun. We added e, the suffix e. We changed the interview into a noun. What does e mean? It means one that does, usually the receiving action, usually used for a person or an object that receives the action. Okay, for example, we have employer, which is a boss, and employee, which is a worker. Okay, let's look at some examples of verbs that have been changed into nouns by adding the suffix e. We have employ, employee, train, the verb, trainee, the noun, refuge, okay, refugee, the noun, interview, the verb, interviewee, the noun. Okay, quick summary. We have ment, it's used as an action result, shun, action and process, ence and ance, action process, and or, it's one that does, a person that does an action or a thing that does an action. In e was one that does, usually receiving an action. Something I want to mention is, why is it important to learn about suffixes? It's important to learn about suffixes to improve our vocabulary and to help us guess the meaning of new words when we are reading a text. Maybe we come across a word that we don't know, but maybe we know the verb. When we see the verb, that verb has a suffix added to it, we can guess the meaning of the verb. Quickly, I must mention that all my images come from public domains vectors. If you have thoughts, questions, or concerns, please email me, and I hope that you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you for watching.